What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing on this lovely Wednesday? It's a bit chilly here in Indiana, but there's no snow, knock on wood, so I can't really complain. So I do have some big news. If you guys notice, there were piles of filament on the floor there. I got some boxes here. So we actually have been testing filament from a bunch of different suppliers to get some cool colors in. And unfortunately, I couldn't find any U.S. manufacturers to do it, but we actually located some overseas ones that have awesome filament colors. Some more unique stuff, like the more basic stuff, we're not getting from them because we can get that from Coax, which is still one of my favorite filament suppliers. But if you guys want cool filaments, we have 35 new filaments coming out this weekend. I just got done photographing all the rolls today, and we're doing test prints of everyone. And I've got a couple here. There's prints running right now. Of the test prints, and we're even photographing the test prints as well. But cool stuff like, I was thinking about calling this one the Galaxy Lime, and this is a green, a translucent green with some glitter flake in there. This is a tricolor one, which came out really cool. So this is 3 colors in one filament, and it's also a silk. Look at that. I've got a ton of these. So multicolor, tricolor, bicolor. I have a couple other ones here. I didn't want to take them all out because I got to make sure they go back in the box because I got to take photos of these. So let me just grab a couple more here that I already have done. So this one is kind of hard to see because it's like, it's one of the rainbow ones, so it transitions. So it's a silk rainbow, and here's a print from it. You can kind of see some of the transition, but this is one of those ones where you print it, and as it goes through the roll, it changes colors. This is another glitter one. This is probably one of my favorite ones. This is a translucent purple with blue glitter flakes. Oh, yeah. And I got one more here that's done. And this is probably one of my favorites. This is a 2-color one. And I think we're going to go with the name Elegant Emerald for this one. Because it's a silver and like a dark emerald green. Look how nice that looks. So we're just doing quick little maker coin prints, and these will get photographed and put on the product page so you guys can see what it looks like when we print them. We also did test prints like this for the coax stuff. I'm going to be photographing those and adding those to the coax pages. We also have right now, because we're discontinuing carrying KVP, if you guys want to pick up some of the KVP filament, all those are $10 off, including their high-end stuff. So you can get rolls from KVP, which is good plastic. It just wasn't super popular, so we're being very picky about what filaments we have, because we only have so much space here to physically store everything. So you guys want to get some deals on KVP, the Make Shaper, which is their more budget-oriented filament, and the normal KVP stuff. Those are both on sale on our site for $10 off. And the Coax Next, which is the recycled PLA, that's also $10 off. And we'll be discontinuing that just because it's not a very high sales volume item. So anyways, yeah, there will be 35 new filaments coming out on our website this weekend. This I'll be working on the rest of this week, getting all the product photos done, getting the test prints done, and getting all the product listings out. Yeah, so let me go ahead and put these back. All right, and the other things I do have are for those of you who are wanting to use our multi-mount. My camera just locked up. That's a great lockup. Hang on. I look like, let's see. I look like something. There we go. I don't know what happened. My screen flashed. And then, yeah, so if you guys are familiar with our multi-mount system, this is a metal bracket with a bunch of add-ons that we print in ABS. The nice thing is this is a system that we're planning on doing support for, upgrades and everything for many years. And to do that, to facilitate it going out of the printers, we actually are making adapter plates now. So like this one is for the Ender 6, which will allow you to use the multi-mount Ender 6, and this just goes right on there. So this will adapt this to properly fit at the correct spacing and everything on the Ender 6, and these are available on their site. We also have them for the Ender 2 Pro as well, which is a little adapter piece. And when you order the adapters from us, and the STL files are included when you purchase the mount, these are all printed in ABS. This is all done with Coax ABS, so it's all US-made plastic. We also include the additional screws that are required to use these adapter plates. So this is one for the 2 Pro, a nice little tiny one there. And then this one is for the Solval SVO1 and SVO3 as well. So this is an adapter plate that puts this on the Solval SVO1 and SVO3. So we have 3 more printer models that we support, and these are live on the site right now. You can go purchase these right now. And then when you purchase the multi-mount, you actually get all the STL files. So the other thing I will mention is Rocky Mountain Rep Fest. So my buddy Justin, I didn't realize it was him who was putting it on until I saw him posting about it on Facebook. But I told him I would definitely give him a shout out because we are a gold sponsor for them. We just paid for our sponsorship spot. So we will be there. That is in the weekend. I know it's April something. And I laugh because it's the weekend right after April 20th and it's in Colorado. So I think it's the 21st or the 23rd, if memory serves correct. So 21st, 22nd, 23rd. So we will be going there. Yeah. So check that out. They don't have a website up yet. I think they have a Facebook page right now, but if you guys look for Rocky Mountain Rep Rap Fest, they are getting another Rep Rap Fest going. So there'll be one over on that area of the country, and then Midwest Rep Rap Fest. I think they already announced their dates are going to be sometime in June, and then East Coast Rep Rap Fest, I don't think they've announced their 2023 dates. And the good thing is, since I actually bought a truck last month, we will be able to get to events now. So I got a truck that we can put all our stuff in and hook a trailer up, and our neighbor actually has a trailer they're going to let us use. So we'll actually be able to drive to events, load up all our stuff. That was one of the major deciding factors of us not going to IRF is I actually wasn't able to borrow my parents' van. They have a couple of big Ford vans that we usually use. And it just is a long drive too. So now I'm actually more self-sufficient, can actually get our stuff to and from the events since I have a vehicle that's capable of that. So trying to think if there's any other updates. I have not done anything further on the Inter 7 because I've been working on getting these, like the multi-mount adapters wrapped up, making sure those all fit on the printer. So taking apart printers here to make sure they fit on there. I do actually have a picture here I can show you of like an example of what these plates do and how they're used. Sometimes it helps to visualize it, but I did take a picture of it. And let me pull it up on my screen here. So this is what it does. So these sit in place of the factory hot end, and it basically just goes between your X carriage and the multi-mount. And you see here we have little recesses in there to help you line it up. In the case, so this is Soval SVO1. You can see I moved the hot end out of the way to test the fitment. And this one bolts up with the stock 4 screws. And then there's actually 2 nut captures in the rear of this to bolt the multi-mount up to it. And this is all done ABS. So if you guys get the mounts from us, you're getting ABS parts. And those are all printed with 50% infill and at least 4 outer walls. So they're very strong. So anyways, yeah. All right. That was a lot of stuff rapid fire. Now I do have to cut this off at 4:45 because we have dinner for my dad's birthday tonight, so I'll be cutting out of here. One of the other prints just finished. I'm actually going to go grab that one because this is probably my favorite cool filament. It's like a blue and red dual color filament. It's also a silk, and I was going to call it cherries and berries. I think that sounds cool. Let me go grab that, and then we'll jump into the questions. So if you guys are new here, how this works is you guys ask us questions about your printers. We do FDM 3D printing here. You can ask us about questions about our products or just your general printer or, even competitors' products, because we know a lot of the competitors, places like, us doing content and other content creators are really the only way to get help with them because a lot of them are overseas and they don't care about their customers enough to actually support them. So yeah, go ahead and post your questions in the chat. You have to prefix your questions with !Q, just like it says right above me. I still don't get how people miss this. That is right here. I don't know how people still miss it. But yeah, and then the bot will pick it up. If the question got added to the queue, you'll see our TH3D Studio account reply saying that I got a question. So let me grab that one print that just finished. I think the other one's about to finish, which is a matte blue and green. So we got some silk stuff, we got matte stuff, I've got some carbon fiber stuff. There's tons of cool stuff coming out, and hopefully everything will be done by this weekend and ready for sale. Yeah, Chris also said we have glow-in-the-dark rainbow filament. So like the filament rolls that transition from color to color, it's different colors glow in the dark. So it's pretty cool. So all right. Yeah, so this looks freaking awesome. It looks cool on the roll, but oh my god, does this look cool. Like oh, okay, ready? Now, here's the thing. I'm looking at the camera preview. This looks way better in person, but look at that. Look at it. So we got the blue and the red. You can see there on the bottom. Oh, and this stuff prints good. Like I've tested so many different samples, like, because we get people hitting us up all the time. And like, they're always trying to sell us stuff, and it's taken us a while to find a good manufacturer that makes this stuff where I'm happy with the print quality, and their stuff has been fantastic. So, and we're going to be constantly going through whenever we get batches and to make sure that the batches we get in are just as good as the first one. So, God, this looks so cool. I'm probably going to steal this test roll for myself after we're done with all the photos. So, because I literally am opening up every single roll, taking photos of the actual rolls, and then doing prints so you guys can see what they look like. But yeah, what do you guys think? I think that looks really freaking cool. If you guys remember Filament, they were actually coming out of here in Indiana. They used to do stuff like this where it was two colors, and they, I'm blanking on his name. Sorry if you're watching. I can't remember his name, but he stopped doing it because it was very labor intensive to do these. But it's cool that there's other manufacturers doing this stuff. Like, this looks freaking awesome. Let me go put that back. And here's the other one. So this is actually a matte one, and this is a nice matte finish. So that is very accurate. So this is a blue and green, which I think looks kind of cool. Kind of like, it almost looks like nature-y colored. I don't know. That's the other thing. We're still got some names to come up with, but I literally just pulled this off the printer. Look at how nice that looks, and that's a transition as well too. So it's two different filaments blended into one. Yeah, that looks awesome. Like, it reminds me, like, it's got kind of like a feel of, like, it's almost like green moss, almost. Do you guys know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like mossy. I don't know. I'm very excited about these filaments, if you can't tell. All right, I will have to start up another set of prints when, every time I sit down, it must be static. Every time I sit down, my screen flashes, and then the camera stops responding. So I'm assuming it's static. I'll have to redo my, or up my humidifier in here. So anyways, let's get into the questions, because like I said, I'm going to go till 4:45, so I got about 30 minutes of questions here. All right. No, it's not the cable. It's definitely like static. I don't know. It's probably surging the USB bus. But anyways, all right. So Tor is the first question. He said, do you see there's already Revo nozzle clones, just the basic brass /TI/normal Revo nozzles, no fancy ones yet? I did not, but I would not touch those with a 10-foot pole because I believe the Revo nozzles are not open source. So the thing is, there's a lot of products in this space that are open source, meaning the company that made them or the designer, maybe it is a company, maybe it's not, they release the files out there and it's under an open source license, meaning anybody can make it. A Chinese company, a company like mine, another company, you know, whether it's an actual company making it, who designed it. I don't like to sell stuff that's not open source, you know, even if it's a clone, because I don't think that's morally right. You know, if a designer made a design and they open source it because they don't care who makes it, that's fine. But I will not sell stuff that is a ripoff of a non-open source design, if that makes sense. And as far as I know, I don't think the nozzles are, what's it called? I don't think the nozzles are open source. I could be wrong. But I don't believe, I remember reading something about how they weren't doing it, and basically it's a non-commercial license the designs are released under, and they have to be licensed or something like that. Because I think Big Tree Tech actually has a version of, I think their H2 extruder that takes the Revo nozzles, and it's like officially licensed, if that makes sense. So, but yeah, I don't like doing stuff like that. I mean, there's other unscrupulous sellers that they'll sell whatever. I try to stay on the moral high ground, so to speak. All right. So let me see here. My questions just closed for some reason. Hang on, let me reopen that. Okay. Okay. So Vic has his next question. He said, my Ender 3v2 suffered a bed crash due to rub through on the hot end. I no longer have power to the parts fan at the board. I heard to order a replacement for me. Is there a way to save this 427 board? Sadly, probably not. It sounds like things got fried. You might be able to like use an external MOSFET on a spare I/O pin if you really want to save it. Like, I've done that in pinches, but it's not something I would normally do long term just because it's kind of a pain. For like a fan, like we do actually have little 3-amp MOSFET modules that can be driven off an I/O pin on the board, and they're like $2. And they're, like I said, they're only 3 amps, so they're only good for like fans or like low amp lights, that kind of stuff. You know, they're not going to work for like a hot end or anything, or definitely not for a bed. but you would have to modify the firmware to reassign whatever spare I/O pin you're using. And on the 427 boards, there's a couple of spare I/O pins. There's 2 on the programming header, and there's a couple on the other headers. If you're not using a BL Touch, you have 2 pins on there. But you would have to modify the source code. And the reason I don't like doing workarounds like that is if I go to update that printer's firmware in the future, the problem is I have to remember that I did that, because I'll go to flash the firmware, forget that I did that one-off repair, just to, you know, kind of get more use out of the printer, and then I'll be like, what the hell's going on, until I remember I did a workaround because there was some problem with the factory MOSFET or whatever I'm bypassing, if that makes sense. So you could do it, but you're going to have to modify the source code. I think somebody asked a similar question on one of our YouTube comments, and like, you know, the thing is, you guys can repurpose pins and put on extra MOSFETs. Like, you can use those little $2 MOSFET boards if you want to add a second fan output, or you want to, you know, add just like a light to it. The thing is, you're gonna have to modify the source code. At that point, you know, you're now limiting how easy it is to upgrade your firmware in the future. So if you're fine with that, go for it. My worry would be that there's other damage to possibly the processor, and maybe it's going to fail sooner than it would, or you're gonna have other weird issues. As cheap as these boards are, I would probably not risk it, especially since a 3D printer is something that could potentially burn your house down. So that's how I look at it. Like, I might store that board away for a rainy day if I like had no other boards to use, or, you know, strip it for other parts. But, you know, once you get damage like that, unless, you know, the CPU is replaced, you know, or you replace like the fan FET and see if it still works, because the thing is, if the fan FET's blown out, either one of 2 things happen. Either it's just the FET that's blown out, or the FET and the I/O pin on the CPU is blown out. And at that point, if the I/O pin's blown out, I probably wouldn't trust that board. If it's just a fan FET and you can replace the fan FET, if you can do service amount repairs, then it's probably fine long term. But if that I/O pin's fried, I would not trust that board's processor to be stable, you know, longevity wise. But, you know, they're your machines. You know, everything I'm talking about on here, this is all just my opinion. You know, I do these streams to kind of share my knowledge and, you know, learnings over the years about this stuff with you guys. So take it or leave it. There are workarounds. Would I do it? Probably not, unless I was like in a pinch. Like, I didn't have any boards. You know, I didn't have any boards laying around. I need to get a print done. Like, I got to have this machine running. I'd probably order a new board and then use it temporarily. You know, I also tend to keep random electronic components. Like, I'm not talking about like our inventory, you know, because our shop is, you know, 200 feet from my office. I have my own personal inventory of parts. I try to keep stuff on hand in case I need to do last minute repairs on stuff. So anyways, Joe Velasco, Ender 7 upgrade. Life got in the way. I've been having a ton of stuff. I had to work on my car again. I had complete brake failure last week on it, so that was fun. Had to do a bunch of work for that, but that's fixed again now. I'm wondering at what point will I just have basically had a new car with all the stuff I've replaced on it. But beats having a car payment, I'll tell you that. But yeah, Ender 7 upgrades. I'm not going to have time this week just because I'm focusing on getting the filament stuff launched. If for some reason I get the filament stuff done between tonight and tomorrow, you know, and Friday before the evening, maybe I can do it Friday, but I don't know how long it's going to take. I got a lot of photos to edit and process. I got the test prints to run, so... but I would ideally like to do it next week because I want to play with this printer. It seems like a fun little machine to mess with. And I think I saw more of them pop up on discount because I know the Ender 7's officially been discontinued, but they still have stock. So, all right. Mike Orion says, Tim, what kind of print bed did you print that Nilex on last week? I have a textured PEI sheet. That's what I printed the Nilex on. I print the Nilex on there with a Vision Miner. I just use Vision Miner basically on every single one of my printers because I think of it as like an insurance policy, whether it actually needs it or not. PLA on PEI sheets or plates, you know, typically don't need anything, but I would rather not have to worry about it coming off at all. So that's something I do. So Nilex, printed an enclosure. I was doing like a 290C nozzle, 100C bed, and it's been great. So the parts that came off it are very durable. So yeah, and it looks nice. We also, one of the colors we have coming out from our line of filament is we have carbon fiber PETG and carbon fiber ABS, and I think I'm actually going to reprint my foregrip for the KSG in the carbon fiber ABS, because I did do it in the nylon, and the problem is it was just the tolerance on the part were a little too tight, and I was like, I just want something that looks nicer, and it's a darker color up front on that. So I think I'm going to do it in the ABS nylon, or not the ABS nylon, the ABS carbon fiber that we got in. It looks really nice. So, all right. John Leet says, do you think you can look at the Micros NG direct drive extruder to fit an Ender 6? It uses the same screw holes at as the Easy ABL. I'm going to say no, because it's not a product we sell. I would probably reach out to Microswiss and ask them if they have plans to do that. They are pretty responsive. Like, they've reached out to us for CAD drawings of our ABL sensors to make sure that they have mounts for it. So yeah, definitely shoot them a message. That's not something, I'm just be honest with you, I'm not gonna spend any time with it because it's not our product. It's not something we sell. So, you know, I would be wasting my time on that. But they are pretty good. So, Peter Anderson, what happened to the Tina 2 stream? It should be up there. I ended up replacing the coupler on it and gave it to my buddy, and his nephew's been using it. I do have another Tina 2 sitting here that I need to get overhauled for my mom. I was going to give that to her. But again, I've got a lot of other stuff. I did end up giving away... Okay, I don't know if we failed over to our other internet, but we just reconnected. Anyways... I ended up giving the Aquila X2 to Krista's nephew because his dad was looking for a printer for Christmas, and they were, you know, having a tight budget. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna give it to somebody, and he built it that night. So it's cool. I love getting younger kids into printing. So that's a win there in my book. We didn't get many requests at all for the Aquila X2, so it's not really anything I'm wasting. You know, we already bought it. It's been sitting here for a year. I'm just glad somebody can use it. So hopefully he'll get interested in 3D printing, because those are decent little machines out of the box. But let's see. Peter said, I want to know, I know you want to do fun stuff with a new hot end. I bought a silicone hotbed to be on its way from China. Oh, you bought one for me? You didn't have to do that. I don't even know if I get around to it. I'd have to get a separate power supply for it. I mean, I'm not saying it can't be done. That board has actually a lot of outputs on it. I would honestly just leave the stock hot end on there for now, because that's basically going to be a little PLA machine. If you did add a heated bed, you could do PET G, but I probably wouldn't do anything higher than PET G. But I mean, you could just throw a box over it. It's small enough. You probably could do ABS with a heated bed. I'm just saying, it is a fun little machine. And like I said, I was really impressed with the fact that they had source code, so no GPL violations like, you know, Creality and a few of their machines, you know, like these source code for them. So yeah, I swear to God, hang on, it looks like we're getting drop-offs here. So let me pull up my console here. If we're going to be back and forth between our Comcast and our T-Mobile, I'm just probably going to manually fail us over permanently to the T-Mobile, because we have their home internet. Oh yeah, look at that. We are, yeah, your Wi-Fi is going to be spotty, Krista, because oh, this is not good. Let me see. Are we still streaming here? I'm trying to test the T-Mobile's up. My Comcast is shitting bad. Okay, hang on. I have an automation that will automatically turn my cable modem switch on after 30 seconds. So basically I can just turn the Wi-Fi switch off, and all happens locally, and it turns it on. So if I need to bounce the modem, but in cases like this where I'm in the middle of a stream, of course it happens when I'm in the middle of a damn stream, I just want to leave it off. So let's see. I'm going to manually fail this sucker over here. Are we back on? We should be on the T-Mobile here. My cable modem is off right now. I'm double checking here. I'm waiting to see if I thought Oh, here we go. Delay. There we go. Turn it off. All right. We're just going to go on the T-Mobile for now. I'll turn it back on. All right, let's go back here. All right. 3 experiment said he got his Black Friday order record speed. Have the shipping problems eased up at all? So yesterday USPS didn't pick up packages, and they told us to wait usually until like 7:30, 8 o'clock because they're running late. So USPS is having delays in general because of the holidays, but they told us that. But they just never showed up. So if you guys had an order that was marked as shipped yesterday, it went out today because they never came and picked up. Like, we pay them to do pickups every single day here. And you know, they closed, I think the post office closed at 5 or 6, so we waited. And yeah, so, but they all got picked up today. So anyways, Mercury 1 status, we are still finishing up stuff with that. We're trying to get our own stuff done first right now. Let's see. 3D Printer said my BTT Pico blew a fuse. I know, sir. The company's using some provide info on the replacement. It's ceramic. Where to find the right one? I would cross-reference that, the specs and the size. Check out Mauser or DigiKey. I actually just ordered some parts, an optical sensor. It was like 80 cents, but with shipping, I bought 3 of them. That's another thing. If you guys are buying tiny parts from like Mauser or DigiKey, buy like multiple of them, especially if the part's like less than $1, because you're gonna pay like $8 shipping anyways. Whether it's one little tiny thing or 3 little tiny things. But yeah, Mauser, DigiKey are places I go to for one-off parts. Their site can be a little overwhelming because it's made for technical people. But basically for like matching a fuse, I would look at, measure the dimensions of the one that blew and try to find something similar. Either, match the amperage, obviously, don't go higher, but match the physical size of it, and basically drill down. Like, if you go on their website, you can drill down and do stuff, but it can be a pain to navigate, but that's the best place to get parts from. Genius Jim 427 says, recommended motherboard change for Ender 6. My stock one is driving me crazy, weird issues. So now, knock on wood, I have been lucky and my Ender 6 stock board has not been crazy. But I have heard many people say their stock boards they had a ton of issues with. If I was going to replace the board in my Ender 6, I would probably put our EasyBoard V2 in there. We do have what's called, now we don't have a pre-set up profile, meaning you can, like, if you're not familiar with our firmware, we have like the printer models there. So if you're like, have an Ender 5, you just uncomment one line, compile the firmware, and upload it to the board. But for the Ender 6, there's many people using our boards with the Ender 6, and they do bolt up into the bottom. The only downside is because our SD slot is on board, you would either have to leave the bottom panel off, or like someone like myself, I print with Octoprint, so I would just run a USB cable into there, so it doesn't matter. The only time you need to get to that is if you're printing over SD or updating the firmware. But we do have what's called DIY firmware on our website for EasyBoard, which is firmware that you're putting our board into a printer that's not supported. It's a lot easier to set up than stock Marlin, and it still gives you the same streamlined experience with the printer and all the features as with any of our pre-set up ones. So I know there's a lot of people, maybe we have people watching that have our EasyBoard in there. The only reason I haven't put one in my Ender 6, which is behind me running a print, is because that board hasn't failed. But my plan is when that board fails, I'm just going to put our EasyBoard V2 on it. So, and I will do a stream when it fails, but I do use that printer, and it actually has been a very reliable machine. So, but yeah, I know it. I've heard that. What's it called? I did hear that there were issues with those boards, and I hear it. I don't know, maybe at least once or twice a month from somebody here in chat on the streams, and like numerous times in the what's the word I'm looking for? Numerous times in the Discord server. Doc DZD3N says, there's no follow-up video on the SVL3. Did you fix the issue with the stock firmware writing EEPROM at every power cycle with your firmware? Not home, take a look right now. Yeah, that printer I actually sold to a buddy of mine, and he's been using it great. I used it for a couple weeks, I want to say, but I didn't need the printer, so I sold it. But yeah, it's been running fine, and the EEPROM works and everything. So, all right. I just got to keep an eye on time. I got like 11 more minutes here. How is the stream? Because we're on T-Mobile 5G right now because my Comcast is acting up. Are we doing okay here? OBS doesn't seem to be complaining, so thank you, T-Mobile. Comcast, you're on my shit list again. Carlos, since ABS and Loctite don't mix, what do you recommend to hold screws from vibrating loose? So, one, I didn't know that Loctite and ABS don't mix. I guess I never have really used it. Like, I just use Loctite to secure some stuff on the KSG, but that's all metal parts. But I would probably use, like, a super glue, like a very tiny amount of super glue. That's just what I would do. I'm not even going to lie to you. I'd probably use some super glue unless there's Loctite. I've definitely used super glue in place of Loctite for certain things. I just don't use a lot. Unless I really don't want it ever coming out, then I'll probably coat it. But yeah. Yeah, Tor, I know Tor, you're in the chat. Where are we at with the Mercury 1 stuff? I think we're just basically waiting on me to build our Ender 5 with it. I think that's where we're at. Right? I'm pretty sure. But we're doing multi-mount filament stuff right now. All right, so are there any 3D experiences or any standards for filament color codes? I want to print with planned color matching schemes. As far as I know, not really, unless people are like doing like, you know, the Pantone type stuff. Even then, I don't know how accurate that would be. My recommendation would just be stick with one manufacturer and one color, and that's as close as you're going to get. If someone is aware of any sort of like sites out there that have color codes for filament, I'd be interested. But yeah, I am very much a creature of habit, which is why I still, you know, print with the coax stuff, because it's very consistent. Like, I bought rolls that I bought years ago and bought them again, and the colors are still the same. So, you know, I think that's really the best approach if you're trying to keep color matching, is to just stick with one brand and color and just document that somewhere so you don't forget. All right, so yeah, Peter, I really don't have any upgrades planned for the Tina 2 because other than changing out the lead screw coupler. So I was going to change out the lead screw coupler from the springy one to the solid one and then put our firmware on it, and that was basically it. Oh, I lied. I was going to put a printed part, which I planned on doing this. I even printed a spool, or I printed this on my Ender 3. This is to hold a full-size spool. It like hooks on. So I was going to do like printed upgrades, but in terms of stuff from us, you know, that printer already has a little inductive ABL sensor on there, which for what it is, it's great. You know, like, it's pretty good out of the box. You know, so other than making, you know, basically quality of life improvements, like having a full-size spool holder that'll hold a full-size spool, because the stock one doesn't do that, and replacing that coupler and the firmware, there's really not much more to do. And at that point, if you outgrow that printer, you want to do more to it, I would just say buy another machine. You know what I mean? So, someone said, why not? Justin says, why not just up the size and the slicer bit was probably designed for PLA originally. Oh, I think you're talking about the foregrip. I thought about that, but I'm not really a fan of the, like, it's okay design. There's some other ones I found. I forgot, one of my buddies gave me like a pack of like 2A stuff, and there was a bunch of foregrips in there. So I might try to get in the nylon, or I kind of want to try try printing like a large print in the CF ABS that we have. So, but yeah. Right. I'm trying to get on. Trying to get on track. Someone said, Pab TV says, can you have a tutorial for printing nylon? I would love to, but I don't really have time to do that. So, you know, like with any filament, trial and error, you know, I can give a good starting point with, you know, the coax Nilex stuff. A good nozzle temp is about 290C, and 100C bed temp. And then, you know, as little retracts as possible, like low wise. I really enjoy printing that material. I don't know where I put... I might have tossed it because I ended up not using it. But, like, if you guys never printed with, like, the coax Nilex stuff, like, it is so freaking hard and durable. It's nuts. And like using like, you know, a grind, like a sanding wheel and stuff or files on it, like it doesn't feel like you're messing with a printed part. It's like weird because I'm so used to messing with printed parts. I see somebody said DZD3 and said apparently Loctite does make a thread locker specifically for plastic parts and fasteners. It's called Loctite 425. And someone else said clear nail polish. I saw that earlier and I meant to say that. Interesting. All right, so if you guys want to get time for a couple more questions, there's 2 more in the queue. Again, put exclamation point Q in front of the questions, and the bot will pick them up and reply. If you don't see a reply from the bot, I'm not going to see them. All right, Nadir said, I found locally here an Ender 5 Plus for $300 used. Looks almost new. Would you recommend this to tinker for big prints? Absolutely. I love my 5 Plus. This is a great printer. You can see I even dropped the $350 on the, oh my God, 3D Upfitters is the brand, who made this enclosure. I print ABS on that damn thing. That bed will hit 110 degrees Celsius. If it is an older Ender 5 Plus, I would highly recommend, meaning it doesn't have the Meanwell power supply, order the 450 watt from us. I have been running, and it's funny because, sorry, I'm going off a tangent here. So the stock power supplies on the early models would catch on fire, and when I bought mine and fired up on the stream, it smelled like burning electronics, and I was like, this power supply is not going to last very long. And I was right, because everybody had chain reactions of failures, and Creality had so many failures, they actually ponied up the money and started putting Meanwells in them. So if you don't have a Meanwell in it, I would definitely recommend replacing it. Let me put it this way. If I saw an Ender 5 Plus for $300, I would probably buy it, even though I have no need for it. I just really like the printer. It's a good machine. And like that printer's been in an enclosure for almost 2 years now. It has our 450 watt Meanwell in there. And I had so many people going, oh, the 450 watt, that's like, you know, the printer's going to be pushing it like 90% load. It doesn't care. It's a Meanwell. They're designed to actually put out the power they advertise. Like, that's still got the power supply that I put in it when I did the installation video. And that printer has thousands of hours of print time on it. So, yeah, that's really the only thing is like the touchscreen I did not like, which you guys know, many of you watching even, and myself, don't like the touchscreens because they're very limited. I think for an Ender 5 Plus, the must upgrades, in my opinion, are the get rid of the touchscreen, put the 128/64 on there, and if it doesn't have a Meanwell, put a Meanwell, and that's my starting point. It does have a BL Touch on there. The long cables sometimes can pick up interference, but it's better than no auto bed leveling system. Obviously, I have our Easy ABL on there now, and I know a lot of people have our Easy ABL on the Ender 5 Plus, just because the BL Touch was not that great on there, but it's better than nothing. I will take a BL Touch over manually leveling my bed if those are my only 2 options. So, but yeah, for $300, if it works, you know, and even if it didn't work, if there was like a minor thing like the hot ends clogged, I probably would still pay $300 for it. I think that printer was like almost 400 something when it was new. So, but I really like it because it can be enclosed fairly easily, not inexpensively, but fairly easily. And the bed does hit the high temperatures. So I do like the printer. So, and I have our multi-mount and everything. I probably have more upgrades on that printer than what I paid for it. I think just on the hot end because I've splurged and put a slice hot end on there. I think between the hot end and the multi-mount and the extruder setup, I think I probably got $450 just sitting on the hot end. But it's been a very great printer. It's been very reliable. So, anyways, yeah, the November giveaway. Okay, I'm going to kind of speed through these last ones and see if there's any quick questions. So if I don't get to yours, I apologize. Nadir said, shame that I don't know, but I saw an Easy ABL on glass. Yes, Easy ABL works on glass. When was the November giveaway announced? We do them every single month. So if you type giveaway in the exclamation point giveaway in the chat, or just go to giveaway.th3dstudio.com. I already put a new one up for December, so we're going to pull a winner. We give away a $100 gift card every single month here. So, and all you got to do is enter in, and I ask you a question, because we, try to gather information, and we do a giveaway, something fun. You guys can get a chance to win, and then we get useful information, for, figuring out what kind of products we want to work on, or just getting general information to see what kind of cool stuff our customers are working on. So, all right. El Ray said, hi, Tim and crew. Can you give a recommendation for a large FDM printer? I'm looking for Ender 5 Plus size machine without the Creality hassles. There's not much out there for that big. I don't have any recommendations other than the 5 Plus and upgrading it. I maybe you could find somebody that would be able to be willing to build out a 5 Plus for you. I don't have time right now, but maybe find somebody locally that knows printers that could, you know, if you don't have the means or time to do upgrades on it, find somebody that might be able to upgrade it for you. Jimmy Smith, are your Ender 3 fans a big improver of the stock ones? I think in general, yes. Our fans generally are a little bit more quiet. The big thing about our fans is they're going to last a long time. The stock Ender 3 fans typically will last anywhere from a month to 6 months. I'm sure people in the chat can vouch for this. In general, Creality fans just don't last long. They use the cheapest fans that they can. Obviously, they got a price point to hit, but it's like, you know. But yeah, the thing is longevity. Layer fans, if you go with a 50-15 layer fan, you're in a lot more airflow. Even if you just go from the stock layer fan to our 40-10 fan, it's the same size fan. It does move more air. You get better layer cooling as you're printing. But most people replace them when they go out. I've gotten to the point where I've had so many issues with failures with the fans. Whenever I get a new printer and it's got the cheap Chinese fans, I replace them. Just because I don't want to deal with, like, let's say your hot end fan fails. What's going to happen when the hot end fan fails during a print? Well, the hot end's going to overheat, and then you're possibly going to be completely screwing up your hot end. So, yeah. All right. Let's see. 3 experiments. Did you move the electronics outside the enclosure on the Ender 5 Plus? No, I don't, because that actually is a duct that goes to the power input, or the airflow input. So, and I have an easy board and a meanwhile power supply on there. I'm not worried at all about heat and those components. Both our easy board and the power supply are more than capable of handling high temperatures. And again, that printer's been, I built that, go look at my video. I want to say it's been at least 2 years. It's been at least 2 years, and I use that printer a lot. I've put a lot of time on that machine. It's probably one of my favorite larger printers we have here. Peter's asking about a testing group. We do internal testing for the most part, just because it's so hard to coordinate with other people, time zones, and just people disappearing. How have I been, R Mills? I've been good. I can't complain. Just tired. I wish I had more hours in the day. All right, I think that's about it. We're gonna go ahead and pull the winner for the giveaway. Where is? I already have it. See, I'm actually pretty prepared today. Let me open up the wheel of names. I got the names here. Come on. Let's go. All right. I'm going to see who won the $100 gift card for November. All right. Let's see. Who's the winner? Who is our winner? Let's see. Oh, I think it's Ron Hester. It's Ron Hester. So I'm going to make a note of that. I'm going to find Ron in my spreadsheet here. And I'm going to mark Ron as the winner. So Ron, I don't know if you're watching. Maybe you are. It sucks because most people that are watching are not people who entered. So make sure you guys enter. It's free. You just got to answer some stupid question I came up with when I made the form. That's it. There's no strings attached. We don't sign you up for an email list even. It's literally just goes into a spreadsheet. That's it. Nadir, the 8mm Easy ABL works on glass too? Yes, it does. All of ours do. All of our ABL sensors do. And that's something I will never change because I know some people still like printing on glass. And, you know, unlike a lot of other sensors. Are we back? Anyways, so yeah, if you guys look on our site, you'll see if you go to order an Easy ABL, the regular ones are out of stock, but I do have a small batch of the Pro Ts in there. And the Pro T is the same type of sensor, same thing you expect for Easy ABL, except we've moved the adjustment screw from the like mid side of the sensor, like in the thread area, up to the top. So some people were complaining about that, so we've been working on a new revision. So there's a small batch of those that are available for sale, so we kind of want to get a small batch and get people's feedback on there. In terms of performance, they work exactly the same as our other Easy ABL sensors, so we're not beta testing on you guys. We're just getting early feedback because I'm trying to figure out if we keep going with the same ones we have or we want to switch over to this new design because some people complain about the placement of the calibration screw. So anyways, all right. That'll wrap things up. I think it's time to give Remo a dingo stick, which I call them dingo sticks. He knows the word. He just knows that means treat. But we still have our chicken jerky. You want a snacky? Do you know snacky? I think he knows the word snacky. Common is in the house with Krista right now, so which is good because they get so rowdy together. Come here. Can you sit? Shake. Come on, let's try again. Shake. Good boy. Speak. Give me a big one. Yeah, there you go. Good boy. Good boy. So, and maybe we'll have to do something for Remo's birthday because Remo turns 2 on the 29th. The 29th, so that's a Thursday. So he'll be 2 years old in what, 1, 2, basically a little, like 1 day over 3 weeks. So he'll be 2 years old. I'm sure you guys can literally watch him grow up because he's been on all the streams ever since he was a tiny little pup. But now we're a big pup, aren't we? Look at this. Look at this dog. Look at how tall he is. 80 pounds of shit. So, anyways, I will see you guys later. I gotta go get ready to head out and get some dinner with my parents for my dad's birthday. So, Dad, if you're watching, happy early birthday, and I'll say it to your face tonight. So, all right, guys. Thank you for stopping by. Hope you guys learned something. Hope you guys enjoyed the stream. We do these every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Central. If you guys want to get emailed whenever we go live, there's a link down in the description to get YouTube notifications. It comes out from a separate system because we know YouTube notifications suck. So if you want to get email reminder, you can do that. And that's only for YouTube videos. If you want to sign up for our email list on the very bottom of our website, in the middle of the footer, you'll see also a link to sign up for our newsletter. It'll also pop up if you haven't been to the site in a while. So make sure you guys get on that. We're doing a lot of cool stuff. And look out for our new filament lines coming out this weekend. I've got literally 30 plus different filaments, and a lot of them are very unique and really awesome. I'm really excited to get these out to you guys. So I'll see you guys in the next one. As always, happy printing.